Hello, this is Mad Cat, and welcome to the last episode of this year on this channel. Which, right now I'm waiting to... Last video I did, there we go. Last video I did on about Rogue One, the audio didn't work, so I needed to make sure that the audio was working again. There are days I really hate Google, which are most days. Unfortunately, Modern Medusa will not be here on this show. Some last-minute emergency came up, being close to Christmas time. I mean, we're 3 days out, so she should be back for the next show we have, although we may do another one before the end of the year, maybe not. She does regret that she couldn't be here for this show, and she said that, maybe we could delay it, but, we kind of found out last minute that she had to go do something, and I'm like, I don't want to, delay it for a day, because I know a lot of you like to come here and hang out in the chat room. And as soon as one of you comment, I'm going to switch over to the chat room and just kind of have... Today's show was just kind of an impromptu show. Me and Modern Medusa, we do really well just feeding off of each other. Although that's an interesting image. But we love to interact with each other. We love to talk to each other. We love the silliness that we have. So that's kind of what I wanted to do for this show, was just talk about a year in review. It was actually this year that we actually met and started doing a channel together. We met because it was actually through Twitter, which is when we first met. She made a tweet in Women Against Feminism, and I think it may have been for a show with Liberal Lunacy and Judgy Bitch. And she, made some sort of comment. And when I'm active on Twitter, which I haven't been in a while, which I hate, but I try to be. What's Vanessa now texting me? What did she say? Oh, she has good news, but I will wait for her to say that. It's not my place to say anything. Okay, sorry. Yeah, something really good just happened to her, so... Anyways, she made a comment on Twitter, and I decided to go ahead and follow her, as I sometimes do. I just see some random person, and I'm like, they look interesting, follow. Well, she then checked me out. She went onto my YouTube channel, and I believe she had seen me prior to this. Once or twice. But she's like, oh, it's such an honor to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Me? I'm just like some small YouTuber, I don't... But, she even commented on one of my videos, and I forget which video, but she was saying, like, she really loved my style of how I did videos. And that is the first time anyone has ever really said that to me. Certainly I've had people tell me that they enjoy my show, but, not enough to usually leave a comment. Usually they'll tell me directly, but it's like, it's still few and far between, honestly. So, we started, I checked out her channel. She only had one video up, which cracked me up. I mean, she was literally pulling things out of her ass, like, and reading that. I'm like, that is just so creative. And I told her, I really loved what she did, and she should definitely do more. So we ended up getting I had her on my show, which back then was Mad Cat Smash Feminism. And then I'm like, well, hey, if you want to be on again, let me know, which I tell everyone. And she was the first person that's like, oh, yeah, I'll be on the next one. Okay. And then the next one after that. And then the next one. I'm like, you know what? If she's going to start being on my channel, maybe I should make a show with her. And this is something I've always wanted. I wanted to do, a show with someone to, counterbalance me, if you will, that can mostly agree with me, but has their own opinions and thoughts, and maybe say something I haven't thought of, or even disagree with me if they think that I'm wrong. And we just instantly had good chemistry, so there we go. We decided to do a show together. Still waiting for someone to actually comment, or else I'll just keep going on with this story. So I asked her if she wanted to start doing a regular show with me, and which she said yes. But I still strongly encouraged her to do more videos. And I think part of the reason why she did more videos was because I kept saying, you need to do more videos. You need to get on this. So more text from her. It's kind of weird to talk about her on a show that she's supposed to be on, and then her texting me at the same time. So, where was I? So we wanted to do a show together, and I asked her, well, do you think we should change the name? And she's like, yeah, we probably should. And we batted around a lot of ideas about what we could do, but it was her idea that we keep the word Smash in there, because Smash was a name that the fans gave me, in the chat room. I believe NC Clark was on the show the time that someone said Mad Cat Smash when I got super angry. So, she was like, yeah, you got to keep the Smash part in there. And we batted around a lot of ideas. And then I came up with the name Big Dicks Smash the Matriarchy, which the letters were BDSM. And she's like, well, what about Boobs and Dicks Smash the Matriarchy? And that's how we got the name together. It's been a very rewarding experience, truthfully. I enjoy doing a show with Vanessa. She is a lot of great fun. I'm a very perverted person. There's no way around that. I'm highly intelligent, but I'm also very, very perverted. And it works for me. I like it. But not everyone does. And some people can have a problem with it. And my relationship with Vanessa was a very honest one. And we, in fact, set up some ground rules early on that made sure that we both understood that, we were just friends and that's it. And we can be perverted with each other, but it always has that limit of we're just friends. And, it kind of hurt at first when we first had that conversation. But it's been very rewarding that we had that conversation. And it's kind of my advice to everyone is be sure to communicate with people. Be sure to go out there and talk to people, and that they know where everything stands. Because if you don't and you allow misunderstanding to happen, then it will just create chaos a lot later. People often say, can men and women really be friends with each other? And the answer is yes. And me and Modern Medusa are proof of that we can be friends with each other. But the secret is that you've got to communicate, and you've got to have that hard conversation of saying, we're just friends. That's it. Nothing more could ever happen. It's just that. And some people have actually accused me of wanting more from her, and I really don't. I like what we have together. We're close friends, you know. Why put a relationship into that? Why have a romantic thing that could probably end very badly? You know, I'm not really her type. One, I'm like 15 years older than her. I mean, some girls are into older men, but I don't think she really is. So, so yeah, it's possible for men and women to be friends, but like all relationships, you've got to communicate. You got to be open with each other. You've got to be willing to have that tough talk, and most people aren't. People are afraid to hurt each other. And I understand it, but it was one thing that I don't like that people have a tough time with that. And usually throughout my life, people have always been uncomfortable by me, and I've never fully understood why. And because people didn't want to hurt my feelings, they avoided it at all costs. But in turn, it hurt a lot more that they did that. Because I didn't know why my presence bothered them. And they never told me why. And so, you know, they go off and do this great thing and then brag about it. And I'm like, well, why wasn't I invited? Why wasn't I a part of it? And of course, I don't say that, but it's what I feel. So I think it's better to rip off the Band-Aid all at once rather than slowly, to avoid as much pain as possible. Because in the end, it actually hurts a lot more to pull a Band-Aid off slowly than it does all at once. And that's what makes me so grateful to have Modern Medusa in my life. And I think that our friendship has definitely benefited from that honesty. So, I don't know what else to talk about. I was expecting Vanessa to be here today, and I'm just like, I was really hoping there'd be a comment or two in here, kind of like I'd had for Rogue One. You know, I'm very thankful for the fans that I have. And, you know, I do see a lot of the same people over time. And, I mean, usually they arrive about 15 to 30 minutes after the fact. So, but they have helped make this experience worthwhile. That if I didn't have the fans always commenting with me and talking, you know, in their own conversations or talking to me, I probably wouldn't have continued doing this. I think I'm at my 2-year mark. I don't really remember. I think it's 2 years. And while my channel hasn't really taken off, I'm at 480 subscribers. I think that's impressive. I mean, being a male on YouTube is a much harder thing to do. I mean, I even wrote an article on that got featured on Ladies on Topic. And, you know, I have a lot of friends who have bigger channels than me, but even they're confounded as to why I don't have more. Or like, you definitely deserve to have a lot more people. And not to take away from them, because they are talented people who definitely deserve, the numbers they have, but it's because I'm a white male. And in this world today, that's the normal. I'm a normal channel. I don't really have a computer that can really do anything fantastic. Anything I am able to do is really the limit of what I can do with my computer. Doing the feminist series that I have been doing, which hasn't really taken off as much as I hoped it would. I mean, the first day, it was fantastic, but afterwards, it just hasn't picked up. And I'm hoping the closer to the end I get with that, the more people will start watching it. But, if you are seeing this video, please check out that. And I think I might start putting it in my description bar below. But, because I don't do anything extraordinary, it means that people don't want to watch me. And as, poor me as that sounds, it is the truth. It really is. I mean, you look at a lot of people that do a lot of great things on here, and, well, I don't know. They do a lot of fantastic things, and I don't. I'm hoping one day that changes. I'm hoping that if I could ever overcome my current living situation where I basically am unable to work, if I can ever figure out a way to make money, and maybe I can get myself a computer that was made, within the last year, actually get some real parts. I mean, I think my front side bus is at 667. It says 800, but I think it downclocked itself. It's just not very responsive at times. Things I want to do, it takes it a lot, and it never works out the way I want it to. So, I mean, I want to do more. I really do. I really want to go above and beyond. I mean, in many ways, I'm a perfectionist. I mean, the videos that you hear, the feminist videos, I spend a lot of time on that. It takes me about a day to do one of those videos. Even the short ones, it still takes me a long time, because it's not that I'm just throwing things together. I'm making sure they line up, even to the millisecond. If it sounds like the audio is just a tiny bit off, I will, move it around until it's exactly what I think it should be. And of course, I did the feminist video with a budget of 0. Most of it I required using Skype. And many of the people I did recordings for didn't even use Skype, and they ended up using Skype just to be on the thing. And that's why some of the recording sounds like it's recording, And I'm very proud of that, and I was amazed by how quickly that took off. And I'd like to think that it's my hard work of doing these videos that has garnered me that much respect to be able to do this. And I still had to find people to do it, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. I thought, when I first put it up there, like, oh, I'm going to start doing this, if anyone's interested. And I thought it would be about now that I would be starting to do recordings. And when I first put it up there, within like a week, I started having people strongly interested. I'm like, okay, And there's a girl named Elizabeth who was a really big help with that she, introduced me to a few people who wanted to be a part of it. And she does a lot for the movement, for the men's movement. I have a lot of respect for her. But my plans for 2017, sorry, this is 2016. My plans, well, I still need to find a way to make money. As much as I enjoy doing this play, I'm trying to get done with it as quick as possible. And I'm hoping that it, brings people to my channel to check me out and start subscribing more to me. Because the next thing that I'm going to do once this is complete, or actually I might just start doing it now, but I'm going to get a haircut first because my hair is a mess. That's just going to take it all off. So I'm probably going to do that the next time I get a little bit of money together. But I'm going to start doing my courses. There's a lot of things that I know that I believe would be invaluable for people to learn. My world building series on my website. That is a passion of mine, and I've been very thankful that since June 2014, someone has visited my website every single day. I mean, 2.5 years where every single day someone is visiting my website because of the work I've done for world building. And that just gives me, it motivates me. But I feel like I've kind of reached a plateau with that, and I really want to go above and beyond. And I think actually doing online courses is the next logical step. So I'm hoping that if I can build up some more followers on YouTube, then maybe when I do those courses, I can introduce them. I'm going to be posting everywhere I can, but I know that part of my success for doing that is going to depend on my success for doing this. God, my hair's a mess. I can't wait to just get rid of all of this. And I'm really, really hoping that my courses can be successful to the point that I can start making a salary, that I don't need to go on social media or use Patreon and beg people to donate to me, because just asking people to give me money so I can get insurance for myself or even a newer computer for myself so I can make better videos, or possibly getting a treatment that could potentially help me, maybe not cure me, but maybe make it possible that maybe I could get a part-time job, something. And I rather work, in all honesty. I hate the fact that there are times where I'm just asking people to donate to me. But right now, that's the only money that I make is occasionally I get money from my mother, and I get $5 every month on Patreon, which I'm very thankful for. I mean, $5 can go a long way for me if I spend it very wisely, which I tend to do. But I mean, imagine if I was making $100 a month or $500 a month. I mean, with that, I could start saving up. I could get myself insurance. I could start getting a computer together. I mean, to get a modern computer to do everything I needed to do would be about $2,000. But, with $500 a month, I could start being able to shop for myself, because my diet right now consists of peanut butter sandwiches and ramen noodles, and occasionally I might make myself tacos. Um, and occasionally I get myself some buffalo wings because I really, really, really love buffalo wings. It's like my most favorite food. So, I mean, that is my resolution because my current living arrangement is the end of July. And I don't know what's going to happen after that. I mean, I really don't want to put my roommate into a position of, you know, maybe I need to stay longer. I I'd like to believe he would do it, but I don't want to find out. I want to be able to move out. Even if I get a studio apartment somewhere and still have to live like I live now, where I'm eating very little, but at least I'd be on my own and I'd still be able to do videos and have some resemblance of a life. But the this Christmas is actually bumming me out because it's the first year that I can remember that I'm not with family. And not that my family is a bed of roses, but at least I'm not as lonely. At least, there's something there. And I don't have that this year. I'm isolated. I have my roommate, and, we went out to dinner last night. My treat to him because he's been so generous to me and he puts up with me. And I'm not easy to live with, especially now. And he has been very patient with me, and I'm very thankful for that. So I wanted to, say thank you. So I took him out to dinner. And yeah, that's money I could have used to give myself something, but I wanted to do something as special as I could, and that was it. But his friends had invited me to a holiday party, which I might have gone to, except for the fact that I can't handle being around a lot of people. I mean, my head starts to hurt. It's not an anxiety issue. It's not, I don't want to. I mean, if I could, I would do it. But my mind just can't handle a lot of stimulation. The sights, the smells, the conversations, being in a new environment. It just gets too much for me, and I have to isolate myself. And the last time I was at this person's house for their birthday, I spent the majority of the party outside by myself. And like I told my roommate last night, if I'm going to be isolated, I might as well stay home. So it pains me. It really does. But, my disability has really robbed my life. 4 years, 4.5 years that I've dealt with this. And it really feels like there's no end in sight. And I'm barely holding on at times. I've been close to suicide many times, just ending it all. And I thought after this long of time, some solution would have came. And Well, my roommate has given me a place to live. That was a temporary measure at best. You know, I know no one really came here to hear me bitch, but, it's maybe being this close to Christmas made a bad idea for a channel, but I made a show. Sorry, my mind is starting to go. Maybe if I don't get a comment within the next few minutes, I may just go ahead and end this show. How do you explain to people? I mean, I seem okay, I I do these videos and I do a lot of things online and I seem perfectly normal. I'm not. How do you convince people that there's something wrong with you and that you really need help? More to the point, I mean, I've seen time and time again that if I were a female, more people would care. But then again, I mean, the Red Pill movie this year, I had a lot of people donate to that. A lot of people, there were a few people who bought tickets simply for the event to happen. And that was very touching. And maybe that's a sign of things to come, that if I keep working a little bit harder, maybe something positive will happen. Or maybe I'm just lying to myself to try to motivate myself to keep trying. It's tough. It is very, very tough. And I want to do a lot of good things. There are all of these conferences going on for men's rights. I'd love to go to one of these. Although the next one being in Australia, that would be a challenge. Even doing the Red Pill movie, I mean, it just wiped me out the next few days. And I slept for like 18 hours and then for like 12 hours, and it took me a few days to recover from that. And the event itself, I mean, it wasn't anything extravagant if you really look at it. It was what most people do. They go out, they hang out, they talk, they converse. And I couldn't even do that. I am going to start trying to go to a doctor again. I've avoided doctors because I've had such a bad experience with it, that most doctors just want to go for the easiest explanation possible, give me some antidepressants and say, let me know how that works out for you. And I've avoided it because I've been so busy with work, and it's like, if I go and do that, then that's a day I can't do work. But I don't know, maybe the doctors out here in Philadelphia are different than those in Arizona. Although Arizona is supposed to have the best brain clinic in the country. And even they couldn't help me. And I think it was more of a refusal to help me than an inability to help me. I think because, I'm on Medicaid, which I just got reapproved for, so yay on that. But because I'm on Medicaid, they don't really want to treat me because they don't make as much money from me as, say, someone else. But then a lot of what I hear that, men really don't get the mental health services that they need. They don't really get help. It's like I think most doctors just assume I'm faking it and that I'm really just super depressed, and that's why they keep giving me antidepressants. Unfortunately, antidepressants make my condition a lot worse because my brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. And the doctor's solution is either change the dosage or try a different one and just keep doing it until something works. And after a few weeks, I just stopped. I mean, I tried 3 different ones and they didn't work. And they all pretty much had the same result. It made all of my other conditions worse, all my other symptoms a lot worse. Then there was a doctor who tried to convince me that I had sleep apnea, which I do have sleep apnea, but said that is what's the cause of my problems, even though I brought up I got injured, and that's when the problem started, and I probably have had sleep apnea for most of my life. But they tried to convince me, and I tried it, and it still made my symptoms a lot worse. And I stopped seeing that doctor when I'm like, well, they wouldn't help me with disability, which every single doctor I've seen have said that they would not help me with disability. Nor would they say that I was actually disabled. They said that they would report on the symptoms I have, but they never even really did that. And if they can't do that, then I can't convince a lawyer that I'm actually disabled, and thus a lawyer won't help me get on disability, which right now would be a godsend if I could actually get onto. But that doctor, I pretty much all of them I stopped seeing for pretty much the same reason, that the only time they were willing to give me medication is when I asked for it. It's like, isn't there any sort of medication you can give me? And it's like, oh, sure, we can go ahead and give you this, this, and this. And it's like, this shouldn't be my idea. I shouldn't be able to say to you, hey, I want you to put me on medication, and you just do it. It should be their idea. It's like, okay, you have all of these problems. I'm going to start you on this medication to deal with this problem. We're going to see how that works for you. And then we'll put you on another medication for another problem you're having until we find the right combination of medications that make you at least somewhat productive to be able to go back to work. That is what I was wanting, but that's not what I got. Believe me, being home all day long and not going out is hell. I mean, it sounds like it would be a dream come true, but it's not, especially when you have no money. It is absolutely hell. I'm running into the problem right now that I'm running out of TV shows to watch. And I may end up having to start watching Game of Thrones. And I've always wanted to watch Game of Thrones. I hear good things about it, but it's one of those things that has so many details to it that you really have to remember things. And, even watching shows I've once seen, I've watched many shows over and over again. And I just got done rewatching Legend of the Seeker. And some things I remembered and many things I ended up forgetting. And even through the course of the show, there were things that I forgot. And if it wasn't for doing the recaps like they were, I might have forgotten something. I mean, I may not have properly understood a reference in the show. And if I have such problems with just Legend of the Seeker, imagine what would happen with Game of Thrones. Wow, my mind is really starting to go. I just like completely blanked right there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this show. I'm just babbling on. I apologize that Modern Medusa couldn't be here. She really had something come up, but as I said, something really good just happened to her. So maybe in a few days we'll get another show going, but probably won't return until January 5th of the new year, and we're going to start doing shows there. I'm going to be super busy with all of the videos I'm going to be doing on the side projects I'm doing. So the video quality may not be all that great up to our usual caliber, but hoping in February we can really start doing that. I originally wanted to not do any videos on YouTube in January, but I kind of felt like that was a mistake to do that. So kind of disappointed with this show. No one in chat. Maybe it's just because it's so close to Christmas. Check out my description bar down below. There you'll find my Twitter account, Modern Medusa's channel, as well as my Patreon. I mean, 'tis the season, and while a lot of people really could use charity, I am one such person. I hate that I have to beg for money like that. It makes me feel dirty, but it is what it is. But, you know, if you want to, I do have my book down below, which I'm very proud about releasing. And I really want to release more books in that series. And once I have money, I can start doing that, because it costs money to get an editor, a good editor. And I've tried asking people for help, and the help that I usually get for free is not that great. So it does require money to put more books out. We're talking about a cost of anywhere from $500 to $1,000 just to release one book. And that's not even including the cover art. So I apologize for this episode. I didn't mean to start talking about all the things that I did. But I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays for whatever else you celebrate. And I will see you next year. That's Mad Cat signing off.